but also recognizing that you have an ego and whoever you're struggling with has an ego too. And we're all just human. Holiday gatherings can be like emotional time travel, especially maybe when you get with your parents and your siblings, maybe aunts, uncles, and cousins, depending on who was around. And you can time travel back to those old patterns and behaviors that you used to have a long time ago.
Welcome to the world of energy, where science meets spirit. Ancient wisdom merges with cutting-edge knowledge, and the possibilities for a healthier, happier you are endless.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Energy Works. And we're releasing this episode in the holiday season. And the topic is going to be around triggers and family dynamics and energetic imprints. However, everything that I'm going to discuss today really applies all year round. During the holidays, it can seem more heightened because often you're with people who you've been with every single holiday for your entire life. And maybe this exact same group of people does not get together except for this one time, or maybe people have traveled and you're with people you don't see that often. And so sometimes you're in situations that you don't find yourself in at other times of the year during this holiday time. And so it can feel more present with you. But really, we can get triggered at any time. It's just different levels of triggers for different reasons. So I want to talk about what those are and give you a few tools to use at any time. They're really tools that I use every single day, 365 days a year, regardless. But we're going to frame it around triggers and family dynamics. So before I even dive into that, I want to discuss the ego, because the ego, unless you've studied it a lot, like I have, when you study yoga and the yogic teachings, you dive deep into ego, like you also do in psychology and some other Western methodologies. But what the ego is, in the yogic teachings, is separation. I am different from you. And so I have this ego that is constantly reminding me that I am different from you. So underneath all of it, we're all the same. We know this spiritually, we are all the same. But we're in these bodies and we have these different experiences, and we look different, and our genetics are different, and we were brought up different, and all these different things make us different. And so our ego is how I am separate from somebody else. Although in reality, I am the same as everyone else. And ego can play in these family dynamics or large group dynamics or repeating dynamics because it's what makes us separate. So I'll be a little more clear and less esoteric about what I mean. I'll even give you a specific example. My friend has a husband. I would say he's pretty strong on the ego side. And his everything is the best. I'll just say coffee. If anyone says ever they went to Starbucks, he will say, Starbucks is terrible coffee. And to me, that is ego. He thinks that whatever coffee he likes is better. And so he needs to share that Starbucks to him is not good coffee. He is saying, I am different from you. You like this terrible coffee. I like good coffee. We are not the same. That's ego. That's ego separation. I've talked about it on the podcast before. I've had many journeys with my own ego and watching it and watching myself as I have been studying yoga and the deep self-study that yoga requires. And I went through a time in my life that I was super picky about my diet, which I am still super picky about my diet. But the difference was I was judgy about other people's diets. And so when I would walk through the grocery store, I would see what other people put in their grocery carts, and I would kind of look down on it. I would look down on their processed food and their ice cream and their beer and their hot dogs. And I would look at their body and just judge the whole situation. And when I became mature enough to observe myself doing it and know that it was my ego, I knew I needed to overcome my ego. So I came up with this saying, I am you and you are me. I am you and you are me. I am you and you are me. And I would visualize the person and I would just keep it my mantra. I am you and you are me. I am you and you are me. And it brought me down a few notches and really helped me with my ego. And that is something that I still do today. I am you and you are me. If I feel myself in these kind of judgy situations. So I offer that just as a backdrop to everything else we're going to say about triggers and the holidays and family, and not just for the holidays, but for 365 days a year, that ego is at play. I am you and you are me can work, but also recognizing that you have an ego and whoever you're struggling with has an ego too. And we're all just human. Holiday gatherings can be like emotional time travel, especially maybe when you get with your parents and your siblings, maybe aunts, uncles, and cousins, depending on who was around. And you can time travel back to those old patterns and behaviors that you used to have a long time ago. I observed this recently with my partner, Burke, and his sister at Thanksgiving. It wasn't this year Thanksgiving, but it was a previous Thanksgiving. It was at her house, and he just got in the kitchen and was like, no, don't carve the turkey with that knife. You should use this knife. And how can your cutting board be so small? You should have a bigger cutting board. And she's the older sister. And so she started kind of snapping at him. And I didn't know those two when they were like 15 and 12, but I felt like I was watching it. And I had never seen the two of them behave that way before. It was like time travel. They had just reverted back to some earlier version of themselves. And it was kind of fun to watch, but I actually ended up inserting myself because a neutral third party can really be a buffer. And I've observed this many times when I've felt some old trigger come up, but then there's a third party around who doesn't know anything about it. Suddenly I'm like, oh, I don't want to cause a scene in front of somebody else. And so it makes my behavior be better. So sometimes neutral third parties around can definitely bring the heat down on any situation. And maybe sometimes you can be a buffer for somebody else. I'm sometimes brought as a buffer into situations just because my presence will make people behave differently. So you might find yourself in roles like that too. So we have this emotional time travel where we react really quickly to certain people in certain situations, old dynamics and childhood issues. A couple of ways that you can prepare for this is knowing what your triggers are. Is it politics? Is it money? Is it comparison? Is it career, jobs, anything like that? Just know what the triggers are so you can be ready. And also know what your role is in these situations. Some people are the instigators. Some people fall back and become invisible. Some people are the mediators. And so think about when these things happen, what are the triggers, triggers being types of conversation, and what role do you usually take on? So then you can go in prepared. When you know, it kind of just helps neutralize everything. So an energetic imprint, it's like a thumbprint. If you could think about just a slate and then you put your thumbprint on it and it presses little lines in, that is a thumbprint. An energetic imprint is similar. What happened is sometimes in the past, there was a situation, your amygdala sensed danger, it sent signals throughout your system, and then things happened. Maybe your heart rate went up. Maybe your stomach started constricting. Maybe you got short of breath. Your body started having these responses. This stress response happened that was triggered by the amygdala. And it's not just a physical response, it's an energetic response. There are meridians, there are energetic pathways associated with all of these physical responses. So they got blocked and constricted and under-energized and over-energized, and they are part of the imprint. Also, triple warmer, which is your energetic fire alarm, just went off, really propagating all of this stress response in its effort to keep you safe. And that created this imprint. It created this pattern, and you hold that into you. So when the situation comes up again, it's very fast. All of these things, your body knows exactly what is happening, and the cascade just happens. So when I say energetic imprint, that's what I mean. It's a stored memory, not just in your mind, but in your energy. There's a persistent neurophysiological and bioelectric state in your body created from this. A few things you can do, I want to wrap up with giving you tools to help you with all of this, is always be breathing in and out through your nose. In and out through your nose breath is a signal to your body that you are safe. Because there are meals and food in some of these situations, chew. Really chewing your food just helps you keep your mouth closed. But it also works your jaw, which is where you hold a lot of stress. It helps your vagus nerve. It helps you digest because your spleen energy is your mother energy who wants you to be safe and well. And when you have undigested and not well chewed food, then that taxes your spleen energy. So just do this closed mouth chewing, breathing with the nose. Everybody will think that you're just eating and you're doing it to keep yourself calm. I want to share with you a few energetic techniques that you can do both before. I do them every day, multiple times a day, but also a couple of them you can do right in this situation. So the first one I want to share with you is called the zip up. And I know some of you are listening and not watching. You just take your two hands, one on top of the other, in front of your pubic bone, palms facing your body, and pull your hands from your pubic bone up to your mouth. And that's it. Draw your hands, pubic bone to mouth, pubic bone to mouth. That's your central meridian. And you are literally zipped up. And sometimes you can be unzipped. You are exposed. You are energetically open, and you want to zip it up so that you are contained and tight and your energy is yours. So zip up, pubic bone to mouth. Hook up, take one finger to your belly button of one hand, one finger between your eyebrows to the third eye of the other hand. Press in with both hands, pull up with both hands. This helps with the aura. You can just hold that for a few breaths. The zip up does help with the aura, and this hook up, using these 2 points, the belly button and the third eye, you're creating this, it's called the microcosmic orbit, and I don't want to dive too much into it, but if you can think about just figure eights propagating around you everywhere, because you're working with the energy that's running up and down your back and up and down your front, and it creates figure eight. So you get this energetic spacesuit around you that protects you. The Thymus Thump is just thumping It's just right under your sternal notch. Your sternal notch is that little divot at the bottom of your neck, up above your sternum. And right below that, if you tap right there, it's really close to your heart. It reminds you that you are you. You are you now today. It does a lot of things, but for the purpose of this, close to your heart, it has to do with your immune system. And Lauren Walker teaches this a lot. Your immune system, from the moment actually in the womb, you are in the amniotic fluid, and that is part of you. And then you come out of the womb and you start breathing air and you are exposed to germs and pathogens, and your immune system is recognizing it and protecting you. And no two people's immune systems are the same because none of us throughout our whole life have been exposed to the exact same thing. So your immune system is yours. It is this part of you that only you have. And it all has to do with the thymus gland. And your thymus gland is really close to your heart. So when you tap there below the sternal notch, it's a reminder, like, I am me. I am not the old me. I am not a victim to these people. I am not a victim to my emotions. I am not a victim to this situation. I am me today. This is me. I am grounded. I am strong. I am solid. And it also can help you balance your ego and bring everything back. The last tip I want to give you is coming to this sternal notch, which is right above where the thymus gland is on the sternum. You can just rest your fingers in there. And even just putting your hands on your sternum with your fingers in the sternal notch, just kind of like you're holding your heart almost, like just resting your hand right there. This helps with triple warmer, the sternal notch, and your energizing thymus gland. So you're calming yourself down and coming back to yourself. And so that is something you can literally do in the moment. You can do it at a table. You can do it in a conversation. The other ones are ones that you can do at any time of day, all the time. And the more you habitually do them, the more you are building a strong aura and you're stabilizing your energy. So when these energetic imprints become triggered, they won't have as much effect on you. So that's what I wanted to share for today, for the holidays, but also for all year round. If you have any comments, please let me know, and I'll see you next time on Energy Works. Alrighty, Energy fans, that's a wrap on another positively charged episode of Energy Works. Lauren, this is the part where we get to use our energy puns.
It's been electrifying, hasn't it, Blaine? We hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have.
If you're feeling amped up and you want to keep your energy flowing, be sure to hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcast platform.
And we'd love to hear from you. So please take a moment to leave us a review. Your feedback helps us continue to deliver content that resonates. So light up our inbox.
And spark a conversation with your friends to tell them about us. And we'll see you next time on Energy Works.